Hello and welcome to Best Bets. Yesterday playoffs continued with second games of many series. We had our picks here. Pittsburgh took a first victory against New York Islanders. They tied the series 1-1. A crucial victory for Pittsburgh to keep fight going. But then Florida couldn't take the first victory. Tampa played like Stanley Cup champions play. They took a pretty steady performance and won 3-1 against Florida. Florida offense couldn't score only one goal. Vasilevsky played very well as a Tampa goalie. And also our total bet over 5.5 wasn't correct. Only 4 goals in this matchup. Tommy, what's your take out of these games?
Very good win for Pittsburgh Penguins. They definitely needed this one. So now it's 1-1 going to New York. Penguins played as well as they did in the first one. Now their goaltender took a couple of saves that was needed. Penguins took the early lead and they showed that they can also play while leading. That has been an issue for this team sometimes, that when they are leading, they let go a little bit too easily. And Islanders this time played exactly like they did last in the first game. That turned to their favor. This time Penguins showed that they're a bit better team and got this really, really important win. Not as a high-scoring game as maybe would have expected from the Penguins, but they did use their chances well and then turned into defensive mode. So this is the way you have to win playoff games, especially after losing the first one very narrowly to the Islanders. So now it's all open again. Penguins do still need to get one win from New York, but I can see that happening, and a good win for us. Too bad the odds were not enough to bring us to the plus overall, but still better green than all red. In Tampa Bay, or in Florida, in Sunrise, Tampa Bay showed why they are the reigning champions, why they are favorites in this series. The way they played, they got an early lead as well. Florida then tried to chase, but against Tampa Bay, this is a bad place to be. So Tampa Bay played a very good playoff game. They defended their goal extremely well. Vasilevsky took the rest. Florida couldn't get their offense going, and this is an issue for Panthers team. If they cannot score that 2 to 3 goals, they are unlikely to win any games. They're not that good defensively, and when you're facing a team like Tampa Bay, that's just too much to overcome. So on under game, Vasilevsky, great game. Also, Drieger played well for Panthers. No issue there, but not enough goals because Tampa Bay did not need to score, and Florida just couldn't score.
Yeah, Florida has quite a difficult situation. They play against the regaining Stanley Cup champion next 2 games in Tampa. And if we take a look of historical track record of different kind of playoff series, when you are 0-2 behind and you go to road, you have a less than 20% chance to win the series anymore. And that looks like Tampa has clear upper hand in this series. Then Pittsburgh survived from this kind of stages and have won one series there against the New York Islanders. That's pretty much open both ways. It's around 50% chances to win series for both. If we take historical numbers here. And then third game last night, Vegas took a victory against Minnesota, also equalized the series 1-1 and showed that they can win, even though Marc-Andre Fleury was again the cornerstone of this win. Let's see if he will have any weak days during these playoffs.
Yeah, without going too deep into this playbook things, I think that Vegas played a little bit more defensively now. They understood that they can't, or they are more likely to win by allowing Minnesota to take control and then hit back. Like we were discussing yesterday, that in the first game, Vegas shot more, but they allowed a lot more A-grade chances to Minnesota Wild. This time, Minnesota got their chances, but Vegas was a little bit more patient maybe this time and managed to create those chances and then score the goals when it was needed. So if Vegas plays like this, I think they will win this series. But if they play like the first game, it's much more open. And Minnesota, if they would be more efficient in their scoring chances, the way the first game was going, they could have won it quite a lot easier than they did because of Marc-Andre Fleury took, I don't know, 5 to 6 game savers in the first one. Now it was enough to make maybe 2. So a good game from both goaltenders anyway, and a good playoff battle. This is what the playoff hockey usually does look like, and it's very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, pretty even game here. If Minnesota was better in the first one, now Vegas, like you said, played maybe a bit clever, and result was also good for them. Tonight, playoffs continue. Actually, tonight is also the last game of the regular season when these two great teams in Canada, Vancouver and Calgary, play their last game of the season. They are not in playoffs, so we don't discuss that anymore. But we have a few picks from the 4 playoffs games that are scheduled for tonight. Here, Winnipeg starts the North Division playoffs in Edmonton. They recently played not so great. Last few games were some kind of small light in darkness for the performance for the Jets. Edmonton has been strong, but this odds 146 plus provide quite a good value for our upset Winnipeg here. Bit similar game like we predicted earlier, Nashville against Carolina. Upsets usually happen in the first game, so let's see if Jets can turn the Jets on and pass Oilers. The other game, Colorado continues to be great big favorite against St. Louis. First game was under, surprisingly, only 4 goals there, but Colorado shot 50 times. They could be maybe scoring a few more out of that amount of shots this time. And if St. Louis can also counterattack successfully, that usually drives the scoring up. Colorado can win by scoring more than any other team.
Yeah, difficult round actually to pick any great value here. We go with Winnipeg Jets, maybe a little bit against our will, but still they do have a chance to upset Edmonton in this first game of the series. Jets halted their losing streak just before the end of the regular season, so they got 2 wins to finish off. They have a little bit positive things going on. They got some better performances from their top players. Hellebuck played extremely well, all these things. So it matters when they go into this playoff series as massive challengers for the Edmonton Oilers. Jets do have to take the first game in order to keep into this. If they lose, I think it might be over for them. But the first game is extremely important for the underdogs. And I do think that Jets have what it takes to upset Edmonton. Oilers, of course, heavy in the offense. Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid, cannot talk enough of these 2 guys. They are leading the team. But after those guys, there are a lot of players who need to step up, and they don't have a lot of playoff experience there. They don't have a lot of depth to go with. Also goaltending, Mike Smith, a veteran, not very proven, especially in the playoffs. Mikko Koskinen, the second guy. Maybe that's the Achilles heel for Edmonton. But it is a good team, and they should be favorites as they are. But in the simulations, we do have Winnipeg Jets for about 45% in this first game. Why they are, the odds are plus 146, which equals to 40.6%. So nice value for the Jets. Let's hope for a surprise in the first round. And then the Denver game, like you mentioned, Tuomas, that Colorado can score that 6 goals by themselves. The first game, they had a lot of chances. It was a good game from St. Louis in that regard, that they didn't allow Colorado to score, to get the A-grade chances. But now I think that St. Louis has noticed that maybe they cannot win these games only by defensive. Like they have to play the best team in the NHL in the offense. So only playing defense will not be enough. So I think St. Louis will open up a little bit. They do have to create something in the offense, and that opens up the play more for Colorado Avalanche to score. I would say 4 goals maybe St. Louis manages to, in the simulation, 63% over 5.5 goals, Colorado scoring 4.3 goals, and St. Louis 2.3. So 2-goal difference, 4-2 would be a nice result for us. Maybe the last one in the empty net.
Colorado is a big favorite here, almost 80% win probability based on the simulations. And even though there is some value, the odds are very minor here, so no too much sense to bet. Bit similar case when Carolina plays second game against Nashville. Home team is clear favorite and also have some value, but odds around minus 190 are not too lucrative for betting. But Nashville, Carolina looks like it could be some kind of direct 4-0 shootout based on the first game. We had before the series started, most probable outcome Carolina win in 5 games, so 4-1. Maybe the Nashville will take the lone victory at their home in third or fourth game, but this looks quite clearly now home team win in a second game.
Yeah, Carolina was so much better in the first game that it wasn't enough that Juuse Saros played a great game. He still had to let 4 goals in. So I don't think Nashville is a match for Carolina, especially in Carolina or Raleigh. And I think that Nashville has the chance to maybe take the 4th game, because always these series that are best of 7, the hardest game for the team that is trying to look for the 4th one. So in order to win the 4th game, I think Carolina does have to come back home and take it 4-1. So I would still go with the 5-game series in this one.
Then Washington-Boston series continue in Boston. Status is 1-1 there. We predicted quite surprisingly that there is equally high probability for this series to end 5, 6, or 7 games, and the most probable is 6 games win by Washington. Do you think Washington can pull the victory here in this or next game and return 2-2 to home, or will it be then something else when their goalie situation is not very solid right now?
Yeah, the goaltender situation in Washington is the only question mark at the moment. Otherwise, they played great. Very even matchup with Boston Bruins. It's an entire coin flip. Wherever they play, it doesn't much matter if it's in Boston or is it in Washington. I don't think there is that much of a home advantage in this pair. But Washington needs to sort out the goaltender situation. If it is Craig Anderson, maybe Boston has the upper hand because of Anderson. However good goaltender he is, he has not played with the team, and it always shows throughout the playing field. If you have a goaltender that you're not familiar with, your defense is playing a little bit maybe passive, and then your offense is out of sync. So it affects definitely how Washington is playing. So let's hope that there is a regular goalkeeper coming back for Capitals to make this a series. But it's not going to be an easy one for Boston. In the simulations, we do have Washington 44%, while the odds are around 40. So the value is still with the Capitals. We do think this is so close series that it's hard to take these sort of 60% favorites in any side.
Yes, and this third game is quite crucial if we think the historical track record of different series. If you win on the road the number 3 game and take 2-1 lead in this series, you have almost 72% chance to win the whole series. If we take a look of historical performance since NHL started. If the home team wins this third game and takes the 2-1 lead, then the probability is quite a bit lower, only 63%. So here Washington could really upset in this third game and take a second victory and be in very good position then for first of all playing next game in Boston, but then they have in any case home game number 5 and possibly number 7.
Yeah, if the third game goes to the road team, it's always so much easier to then go on the fourth, because then you don't have to win, and you have a lot of chances to cut the series. So the third game is, of course, in this situation where it's 1-1, it's also the deciding one. Like playoffs, there is always all the games are really important, but like you mentioned, the percentages, it is interesting that if you win the third one as the favorite to start the series, you have much bigger chances of winning than if the underdog wins it. And that's, of course, due to the fact that the team starting at home is usually a better team. So that shows also. But in this case, Washington and Boston are so even that it's even more important to win the right games. So now it's again another chance for Capitals to get a little bit of a breathing room, especially with the situation with the goaltenders. So could be a very important win for them.
Let's see who wins. Will it be Washington with Greg Anderson or Boston with Tuukka Rask? That is maybe a notch better goaltender than his counterpart in Capitals.
Yeah, I do think so, yeah.
We'll be back tomorrow with further analysis of these games and new picks like every day.
See you tomorrow.